Edwards. I'm the project coordinator for the I-Squared competition. Before I proceed, there's no time for entering this year once again. I believe you and I will enter last in place. Yes. So, thank you for doing us the honor and participating again. Okay, today I'm here to present the last session of the presentation. Basically, I'm going to go through the outline for the competition and then the judging criteria. If you have any questions, stop me at any time and I'll answer. Okay, the outline states that the competition is intended to give you the chance to change the world through innovation and through imagination and creativity, which showcases your people's inclination towards innovation. We want to provide a foundation for this by coming up with a forum for great and inspiring projects. So, what the I-Squared competition does, it exposes your creativity through the development of mobile applications and projects that can basically help to revolutionize and resilience. The competition runs in phases. Phase 1 was the launch of the competition, which took place on September 11, 2014 at the Glen campus of the SVGCC. Phase 2 was the public awareness campaign where we went out into schools that didn't participate last year in order to sway them to enter, and we were fortunate to gain many of them participation. And phase 3, which is what we're having here today, is the good tips presentation. What this does is we group participants respective of their zone. You're in the leeward zone, but the grenadines. So when we judge, you will be judged with the leeward participants, but we'll be coming here separate. And in partnership with the Toastmasters, we have Toastmaster Wendie here today with us. She works at the Bank of SVG, and she'll be delivering a presentation to you on how to do good presentation. The competition is done verbally, so when you come before the panel of judges, you will have to basically speak your presentation, and that's where the Toastmasters help comes in that aspect. They help to improve your communication skills in order for you to excel in the competition. Phase 4 will be the preliminary round judging, which begins on November 17th with the Kingston zone and ends on the 20th with your judging. And phase 5, which is the grand finale, will conclude the I-Squared competition. It is scheduled for the 15th of January 2015, where those participants who would have gained the judges nod in to proceed to the final rounds will come and present their final pieces, and the prizes will be distributed accordingly. Submissions. You should already know this. The competition is broken down into 2 categories. The submissions will be in the form of mobile applications and ideas. I believe your school submitted in the form of, what form did you submit it? Ideas, okay. So for judging criteria, that will be the aspect that I will focus more on. For judging, you have, when the day of judging comes, you have 7 minutes to present your presentations for the judges. After this, there will be a 5-minute round of questioning where the judges will pose questions to you to basically clarify what didn't come out, what wasn't clear about your presentation. So that is why research is very important for this competition, because they'll be testing whether or not you actually did your research, whether what you're saying is factual and not made up stuff. The panel will consist of 5 persons from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, persons in the ICT field, and persons from the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. The rules of the competition, you should already be familiar with them, but for those who aren't, schools who participate, they are required to enter in groups of no less than 2 and no more than 5. It is a requirement that each group must create a Twitter account, as it is through this medium will be issuing competition updates. So you have to constantly check your accounts to see if we've updated about the competition. Students, they are required to have an official mentor who can be a teacher or someone they deem fit to assist them in the competition. And you are not allowed to create projects that are already in place. So we want something new, something fresh, something that's never been done before, hence the innovation behind the competition. You are required to visit the public service department in which your projects apply to conduct your research and properly present your findings. With the submission of the projects, you grant the NJRC royalty-free license to produce, publish, perform, and distribute your work in any manner. You waive rights to compensation. So if we decide to develop it further or market it on some level, you can come to us demanding money. And the judge's decision is final. So when they decide who's the winner, don't go bickering with them because it's final. Okay. And there's the schedule for the competition, like I said. Preliminary round begins on the 17th of November with Kingston and ends on the 20th with Union Island. And then the grand finale will be on the 15th of January 2014. Okay, at this point I'll go through the judging criteria. And once again, if you have any questions, stop me and I'll answer. You have a question? You have to create a Twitter account and follow the NTRC.
Or the group itself?
Yes. Okay. Yes. The criteria for the competition, there are basically three. The presentation, which is worth 50 marks, the impact, 65 marks, and innovation, which is worth 25 marks. On the presentation, you have to introduce your project and the tagline, which is like a catchphrase that you can use. So when people hear like so good with the scarcity, you know that's scarcity, or the back that gives you more. I think that's bank of equity. Yes. The problem statement that identifies the government sector and the problem is very important. To have a solution to a problem, to have a solution, there must be a problem. So you have to ensure that you clearly state what the problem is and which public service sector you're targeting. The procedures necessary for implementation, this is basically like the method, how you're going to implement it, what resources you will need, whether financial, human, the equipment that are necessary to do so. The explanation of how it will work is like your discussion. So you discuss how it will work, what will change in the public service, what will remain, what can result from it. The features, these are like the attributes or the aspects of the project. You have to clearly state that. The pros, cons, limitations, these are like the advantages, the disadvantages, the lack of capabilities, the inabilities of the project. You have to clearly state those too. The target market will be who you develop the project for, whether it's the citizens of Union Island or the civilians or policemen, women, nurses, school teachers. You have to clearly state that. The explanation of the intended results. This is what you hope will happen, or what you hope the outcome of the implementation of your project will be. So you explain that, and the overall quality of presentation. This is the easy 5 marks. Basically, your presentation must have a start, a body, an end, or conclusion. You must be fluent, use proper grammar. You must be unambiguous and clear and consistent. So that's for the presentation, which I said before is 50 marks. You're clear on that? Okay. The impact will be the effect. Well, that is like the effect or the influence of the implementation of your project. So will it make fundamental change? Will it make a significant change in how the service they are delivering is being done? How will the government benefit financially, whether they will save money, save human resource, save paper, pen, what have you. So you have to clearly state that. You have to present facts, and they have to be precise and accurate, which, like I said before, research is very important. How the implementation will sustain in the long run, can it be maintained, can it sustain itself? Whether it's just for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you have to say whether it can. How long is the time? How long is the lifespan or the life expectancy of the project? How does the solution pacification relates to solving the problem. You can suppose your problem is better roads in Union Island, and you proposing putting a bus stop next to your school. That doesn't solve putting better roads in Union Island, so they must relate. How practical, what is the positive impact? This is basically the positive effects on the government service. How practical is it, whether it makes sense to implement it. Can the government sector really benefit? You have to explain these and what advantages can be derived from it, and will it readily integrate it into the existing system or sector. Most times there's already a system in place, so you have to state whether they can be piloted together or one has to be phased out and phased in the other, or direct changeover. You stop one and then you start the other. So you have to clearly state that. And then the final category, which is innovation, this basically tests your creativity, whether what you come up with is new, it's fresh, whether it introduces new things, new methods, new way of doing stuff, whether you use original projects, so that's the innovation behind it, and you have to state what it can be materialized into, whether a video game, a TV, or mobile application, or a song, a dance. I don't think it will be materialized in a song or dance, but I'm just saying. You have to clearly state that. For doing the presentation within the 7 minutes, you will get a bonus of 5 marks. For using visual aids, such as PowerPoint presentations or a projection or doing a skit, you will get another 5 marks. After this, the judges will talk amongst themselves for a little while. Then the 5-minute round of questioning will begin. So, like I said before, research is very important because you don't want when you come to questioning, the judges ask you, so which public sector you're targeting, you don't know, right? So you have to ensure you do your research, do proper preparation, so to ensure that you're well prepared. And there's a comment section. This section basically is for those who will be going on to the finals. So the judges each judge will leave their comments, and then if you advance to the finals, you will see that, so you will know where you can improve, where you went wrong, where you missed out. So, yes. And the same criteria that will be used for preliminaries will be used for finals. So if nothing changes, only for the mobile application category, which you're not entering, the finals changes. So I just want to thank you for listening to me, bearing with me. And at this point, I'll introduce Toastmaster Wendie Wilson to deliver her presentation. How much time do I have?
Good afternoon, everyone. Do you agree with me that it's a good time to be alive? Or is it a great time to be alive? Why is it a great time to be alive? You're not sure. In this day and age of technology, of course it's a great time to be alive. I was lucky enough to have been born at a time before technology, where there was still black and white TV. A lot of people know about that. And here I am seeing technology. So I know it is a great time to be alive. Before I start my presentation, I would like to learn something about you. So each of you are going to stand and tell me your name, but this is how you're going to do it. Using the first letter of your name, you're going to say an adjective, say your name, and say something you like, also using the first letter of your Christian name. For example, I am Wacky Wendie, and I love watermelon. WWW. Get that? I can give you another example. If you're Carlos, you can say, I'm Creative Carlos, and I'm from Bristol. Alright? So let's start with you. Everybody run away. This is the time to show your creativity that you can sing. Who wants to go first?
What is that?
Wow.
I'm trying to get a proper adjective that will describe it. Let me use this one. I am attractive after and I love apple.
Good. Next. You said you were next.
I'm creative, curious, and I love fun.
Good. Next.
Your name, my name is Shanka.
Okay, so I'll let you think for a while because we don't have much time. We have a boat to catch and the bus is coming back from 2. Right. I have 10 pointers to give to you for a good tip. When you're making a presentation to your audience, one of the things you want to do is sell. Whether you're selling yourself, you're selling, I like to sell Toastmasters, but I'm not doing that today. Or in your cases, you'll be selling your project. What's the first thing you think you must do when you stand up, or before you even stand up before your audience? What must you do? You have to structure your presentation. So your presentation must have an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Repeat after me. An opening, a body, and a conclusion. And that's the structure for any presentation. Alright? Your opening must be strong. It must be one that will make your audience look up and say, oh, who's that speaking? Before I joined Toastmasters, if I stood here to speak to you, I would be saying, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nana. You would have never ever heard me. But I've learned that in order to grasp your audience attention, you have to be positive, energetic, enthusiastic, and of course, speak up, speak loudly. Don't shout, but project your voice. You have to also keep the body of your presentation organized. For example, if you're talking about your day, if you're talking about last night, you can start by saying, I got home at 6, I watched television at 7, I woke up at 12, then I went to sleep at 9. No, it must flow in order. Okay? Understand me so far? So that is opening, body, conclusion. The second thing is vocal variety. You do not want, first of all, to be speaking so fast that the judges can't hear you, or you're speaking so quickly that you're eating up your words. I know sometimes you get nervous, and that's when you tend to speak quickly. But I've learned that when you're nervous, the best thing to do is to slow down. Speak slowly. Now, you're not going to speak so slow, like put your audience to sleep. You have to speak at a pace where they can understand and follow you. And also, vocal variety helps with relaying your story. Now, you might be talking about the best day you had and say, oh, it was the best day I ever had. Does that sound like the best day I ever had? No, you said, it was the best day I ever had. Vocal variety. Vocal variety ensures that your audience is not bored, and it adds sincerity to your presentation. All right? The third point is body language. Your body speaks, regardless to whether or not you are conscious of what your body is saying. It speaks. What do you think my body is telling me? Does my body say that I'm nervous? No. Okay. If I was like this, what would I have said? Nervousness. So you don't want to be doing this when you're giving your presentation. You want to have your hands in your pockets, like the boys like to put their hand in their back pocket. No. And you use gestures and make sure that they're smooth and they go with what you're saying. Because you're not going to be talking about throwing a ball and then hitting your foot. It doesn't say what, your voice can be saying one thing and your body saying something else, okay? Eye contact is very important. That's body language, if you don't know. Your eye contact says, I'm being sincere with you, I'm drawing you in, and I'm speaking directly to you. Alright? And your facial expressions. If you're enjoying your project, please let it show on your face. Let your face say, I'm happy to be doing this, and I'm happy to be sharing this information with you. Because today, I am happy to be doing this, and I'm happy to be sharing with you. And unlike you, everybody else seems happy to be listening. I'm just sticking on it. So that's body language. Now there's something Toastmasters called pause fillers. Do you know what that means? Pause fillers or crutches? Have you ever listened to somebody and they're talking to you and they tell you, I went on the road, this girl met me, I don't know what she's talking about, but every other phrase of us, yes, those are pause fillers. It means that you're grabbing at words, you don't know what to say. And it distracts your listener from what you're saying. That is why it's important to slow down. If you speak slowly, you think quickly, and therefore you will need pause fillers. So there are pause fillers like and as, and of course there are also the overused conjunctions. When somebody saying so, and but, and but, and but. When my son was about 4 years old, he would give me a story and he would start, Mommy, I went down the road and my teacher saw me and she told me to and. Now, for a 4-year-old, it was annoying to me. So you can just imagine teenagers and adults behaving like that. It subtracts from your speech. Okay? And you can also avoid things like, as Vincentian or Caribbean people have a tendency to, you know. So take those out, okay? You have another one? Take those out when you're giving your presentations. Don't forget, I'm still coming back to hear your names and all of that. My 5th point is get to the point. If you're speaking about, what's the name of your project you're doing? Licensing. Okay, you're speaking about licensing. You will start by saying, St. Vincent Grenadines got independence in 1979, blah, 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 and until you get down to licensing. No. You start by saying, today, we're speaking about licensing. Straight to the point. And then you expand, of course. I don't have to tell you how to do your presentation as in PowerPoint and all that. That's what you have with an attractive teacher for. Okay? So I'm not going to go into that. But get straight to the point and be accurate. Do not use information that you're not sure of. Because the judges will go and review. And if you use incorrect information, you will be penalized. Not you might be, you will be penalized. It's just like in school. If you have to do a project that you have to research, and of course, if you just go online and you finish everything, you plagiarize and you penalize for that. And the same thing NTRC will do for you. Be concise. If you have 10 minutes to speak, speak within that time. Do not go over your time. And speak clearly and explain yourself properly so that they will understand. And also be clear. You don't want to have the judges having this look on their face and saying, what did they say? Or they missed such an important point because you were not clear when you were speaking. Alright? So let me repeat the first 5 points. Remember what the first one was? Structure, opening, body, conclusion. Second one, vocal variety. Third, what What comes with vocal variety? Body language. Fourth, pause, fillers and crutches. And fifth, get to the point. Are you listening, man? Alright, the sixth point is research, research, research. Miss Edwards would have said that before. You need to research your topic. And researching is easy. In my day, I had to use encyclopedias. Now you have the internet. And I don't believe Wikipedia is a trusted site. I've never endorsed it. Don't know what your teachers think about that, but for me, Wikipedia never works. But research, 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 okay? Know your material well. You should never be asked anything about your project and cannot answer it. Know your material well. And be prepared to answer anything and everything the judges ask. Alright, this is your topic. You have to own it. You have to know it by heart. And if you're passionate about it, you will know it. The seventh point is rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Of course, if you're making a presentation, you must rehearse. No, I am not saying to learn it word for word. I don't believe that. You can, a good suggestion is have like cue cards if you don't know all the material. You can have cue cards with just one sentence that will remind you what you need to say. And they're very small cards, and you can just turn them over and use them to help you. But you must rehearse. I rehearsed for this speech, you know. You go in front of the mirror. I have 2 children, and they are my worst critic. If I have to do a speech and they think it's boring, I know it's boring. If I can make them laugh, then I know it's funny. So you must have family members, you must have teachers. I think I see mentors. Use the persons available to you to assist you. So rehearse, 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 okay? Try to at least learn your opening and your conclusion. Alright? At least learn your opening and your conclusion. Now the 8th thing, and this is very important, if you stumble or if you forget something, do not stop and apologize. Your audience do not know what you are going to say. The judges wouldn't know what you're going to say. Your group members might know, but they're not going to talk. So you just continue going, as if you never missed anything. And if you speak slowly, you will think quickly enough to fill in the gaps. And don't you use that time to say, okay? So, and this is something we emphasize, do not apologize when you have forgotten something. Nobody knows what you're going to say. That's point number 8. Point number 9, forget confidence. Yeah, you might not be confident, but once you're enthusiastic enough, confidence, it comes. Your enthusiasm shows confidence. You might not feel that, boy, I'm doing a good job. But if you are active and you're happy and you're bubbly and talking about your project, you know, then people look and say, she's confident. You don't know inside you're dying and say, well, I can't wait to finish. But you're enthusiastic to give your presentation. So once you have enthusiasm, you don't need confidence. But of course, confidence is good also. So let your vocal variety and your body language compensate for your lack of confidence. They will bring out your passion. Once you have passion for your project, nothing else matters. Tell me something that somebody here has a passion for. What do you have a passion for? Something that you love. Then you can do all of it. Football. It doesn't matter. Football. Right? The one you pick is soccer. I am sure you can stand up and talk about football with passion. I mean, you might not be confident that you could play the game because you've never played it, have you? Right, but once you're passionate about it, who would know that you've never played the game? I sit down and talk football with my son. Think about soccer. And the other thing to be well groomed on that day. Now you don't want to be standing stand in front of your audience and the women wondering, oh, is my hair sticking out there? Did I put enough gel there? And the young men thinking, is my shirt sticking out to the back? Did I clean my shoe? Make sure you're well groomed so you don't have anything to distract you on that day. That's the day you're making your bid for 50 points. So you want to have everything coming together. Your body language, your vocal variety, the way you look, the way you sound. Everything must be well done on that day.
Yes, please.
And finally, have fun. It is not fun if you're going to do this thing and not have fun. You learn better when you're having fun. And that's one thing Toastmasters encourage us to do. We learn in a very friendly environment. And it's, don't you find that the teachers that you have who tend to joke around with you and make you laugh are the ones you gravitate to more?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because they have you to relax and they create a friendly environment. You said these two teachers are not.
It's why I'm time.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's serious, it's serious.
Well, of course, time for jokes and a time, right. But remember, above all, have fun, have fun, have fun. So let me repeat the last 5 tips. Research, research, research. Then rehearse. Right? If you stumble, do not apologize. Forget confidence, just be enthusiastic. And the final one, have fun. Have fun. And remember too, if you, regardless of what time of day, eat. Please eat before you go to this thing. Nothing distracts you more than hunger. And some judges have good ears, you can hear a growling belly. Alright? So, like Franklin Benjamin said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Remember that? If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Okay, once again,
Oh, they want me to give the name, sorry.
oh, question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't ask you have any
I want
questions.
to know what is Toastmasters? I don't know what Toastmasters.
Oh, sure. Toastmasters is an international organization. It was formed in 1924, yes, by a gentleman by the name of Ralph C. Smedley. When he formed this organization, it was just for men. He thought that they should be able to speak in a formal setting. At the time, persons would get up and speak and say any old thing anywhere. So he thought that he should have a club where persons learn to speak properly. And it's been 90 years since the organization formed. It started with 20 persons in a basement in California. Now today it's over 313,000 members with over, my 20 minutes just finished, with over 14,000 clubs worldwide. This organization, it helps you with your communication skills. It teaches you how to make presentations. It also teaches you leadership skills. For example, some of the functions you do in a club is that of a timer. So you learn to speak within your time limit. You see, I finished before my time was up. It also teaches you to listen. We listen for grammatical errors. There's a grammarian who does that. There's also a person called the R counter, where they listen for all the persons who say an R and they make a note of every time you say an R, or whatever. And at the end of the meeting, they report and said, okay, what's your name? Franka said 15 R. But that's what I heard, sorry. It helps you with your communication skills. And there is a young arm of the Toastmasters which is called the Gava Club. The Gava Club is there for persons below the age of 18, but it could go up to 21 as long as you're not working. And it's good for schools. There's one Gava Club on mainland St. Vincent. And we can form a Gava Club in the island if you want. And you have Toastmasters as mentors. But you also have to prepare speeches and deliver them. And your first speech is about yourself. So whatever you want the audience to know about you, you talk to them about yourself.
For the judging, for the finals, right? They also be judging.
Toastmasters? Oh, who here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you have to ask Miss Edwards' class. I'm not sure about that.
Because sometimes I try to be like, when it's kind of jovial, and they'll be like, I was serious with it. I don't want to be a joke.
I understand how that is. It's something similar when you go into a job interview. You see these mean looking faces and you get nervous, but don't worry about it. Just do your presentation and remember your eye contact. You don't have to always look at the judges. You have your group, your peers, you look at them. You can look straight across the room, just at the heads of the top of the head of people. You don't have to look at everybody in the eyes. But look at the persons who you think have a little smile, and that can help you to relax.
Oh, she finished. Yeah, my name is responsible.
Okay. So who else have their thing? 20 minutes and you didn't cover anything? I'm disappointed.
I see disappointed.
I'm devious better than I can say.
Devious Debbie, wow, okay. Shanka, what's you?
I'm sassy Shanka and I love shop.
Sassy Shanka. Alright, thank you, it was such a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Yo.
Once again, let's thank Toastmaster Wendie for her presentation. I hope what you would have spoken that you would incorporate it into your presentations, hope it will aid you in your preparations, and come with your preliminary judging, you wow the crowd and the judges with your presentation. So thank you for having us, and we'll see you preliminary.